So I decided to make the movie one night when I was watching Bowling for Columbine, the Michael Moore movie. And I can't tell you why, but I started not paying attention to the movie and drifting off and thinking about the United Nations and thinking about Rwanda and how a genocide just occurred in our own lifetime, and we did nothing to stop it, particularly the United Nations, because that really is, you know, more than France or the United States, that's really why the UN exists, to stop genocide and security. And then I was thinking about how today we have Sudan. And Sudan is not different from Rwanda, just slower and longer. And we're still not doing anything about it. We didn't learn our lesson from Rwanda. And think about how the UN really has failed us. And then I looked over at the screen, and it was, God, this is a really interesting, entertaining, engaging medium. You know, this whole Michael Moore style documentary. I said, this is what I want to do. This is how I can make my voice. I was an investment banker. I had absolutely no film experience. I've seen a few movies, but that's about it. And I thought, I got to make a documentary. I can make my voice heard that way. And as an investment banker, nobody's listening to you but your clients, and even they don't listen to you. So that was it. I decided to quit my job. I met my partner, Matt, and he, incidentally and strangely enough, completely separate from me, I didn't know who he was also thinking about a documentary on the United Nations. And somebody got us in touch with each other, and we started putting together a team. Yeah, listen, to be honest, making a documentary, it's not rocket science. It's something that you can figure out as you go along, and that's essentially what we did. The process was actually relatively straightforward and simple. I mean, you really, the way the process works is you have to have the idea for the movie. You have to have a general idea on what path you want the film to take, and we had a structure and the major topics we wanted to cover. We simply made a list of all the people, you know, did a lot of research, obviously, did a lot of reading, read a lot of books, a lot of articles, a lot of periodicals, and we made a list of all the people who seemed most interesting to the subject matter that we were tackling. We made appointments to go see them. Every time we would put together a group of, say, 10 people in one area or one city, we put our team together, we'd go down there, we do the interviews. We did that over and over again until we felt we had enough mass of body of work that we can begin now to put the pieces together to actually make it look like a movie. At that point, we brought in what I think is the most important part of a documentary, which is the editor. Because an editor, you now have, I mean, literally thousands of hours of footage and information that you have to glean into 90 minutes at most, I think. And you have to have somebody who could assimilate all that information, understand all that information, and begin to cull it into something which makes sense as a movie. I mean, usually you get it down to at least 3 or 4 hours, and you can start working with that. And it was doubly difficult for us because we had a certain style in mind. It wasn't a straightforward documentary. There had to be a lot of humor. And humor is, you know, especially with the subject matter that we had, is tough to do. So you had to find the right person. And we found, I think, the perfect person. His name was Doug Abel. Doug did the documentary, he edited the documentary The Fog of War, which won an Academy Award. He also was the editor of one of the most popular comedy TV shows in America, and still is, called 30 Rock with Tina Fey. So he had a really good sense of fast comic timing, which is what we were looking for in the movie, and dry and ironic comedy. And we worked together for nearly a year, going through all that information, and even adding more, we were even shooting during that process, and giving him more work to do. And we put together, I think, really in our minds, what we envisioned the film to look like and feel like. He was able to download that from our minds onto the editing bay. And I think it worked very well.